If Aerion hadn't yielded, would Dunk have killed him?
Are the Seven Kingdoms screwed now that Baelor won't be king?
Is anyone going to give a double F?
Double F?
Yeah, flying F. About the rest of the tournament now.
We'll answer all those questions and more on this episode of
The Joffrey of Podcast.
Very busy. Many important matters require king's attention. I'm king now. King now. I am king. I am king. I am. Kiss it. I am. Kiss it again when I turn. Your fingers or your king doesn't fingers discuss your battle plan. Stupid girls. Your fingers or your tongue. I am the king. I'm telling mother. Oh.
My name's Bubba, and with me, as always, is somebody who never shows off his brains. It's Catfish.
Oh, pleasure as always, Bubba, to podcast with someone who lasts only slightly longer than Beesbury.
Guys, we're going to be breaking down Season 1, Episode 5, on the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, entitled In the Name of the Mother.
Smack.
Dunk's mettle is put to the test in a brutal trial of 7. Years earlier, Dunk finds himself drawn to the promise of a new future. On this podcast, we're going to be breaking down, hopefully not as bad as Prince Baelor, this incredible episode. We're going to answer all your feedback. We're going to play Immoral Dilemmas, and we're going to play our classic match games. Catfish, we are at the penultimate episode. What rating do you give to Episode 5?
Bubba, I gave this episode 9 out of 10, what I like to call double Bs.
Double Bs.
Brutal bludgeoning. Holy cow. This was a brutal, ugly, visceral, emotional, triumphant fight. And then we ended with a huge rut-row for the episode. Camera work. The sound work, the editing, the entire production of this battle was triumphant, Bubba. And in fact, at the end of the episode, Lady Catfish said, "This show is way more sad than Hamnet."
What does that say for the Oscar choice chances of Hamnet? Oh no.
It's got no shot against Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Bubba, the only thing you might be saying to yourself, oh my God, you just slobbered all over this episode, Catfish. Why only a 9, especially since you've been dinging Bubba all season long for going perhaps a point too low? Bubba, I am deducting an entire point for the triple F.
Triple F?
Yeah, the frequently fruitless flashback. Bubba, when I watch this again, the flashback takes up 19 minutes of this episode, Bubba.
And that feels like it.
2/3 of this episode is on this flashback where, okay, I guess it's nice. I definitely don't learn as much or get as much info, or it just, the juice was not worth the squeeze on this. If you're going to go back in time, this was just typical. I'm not surprised by anything that happened here. Watching my 3rd Game of Thrones show, so I learned nothing new, and it took an entirety of the episode. So that is why I'm docking this an entire point for the frequently fruitless flashback. Wow. Bubba, but at least I thought after this episode, I am so sick of people calling Dunk Sir Duncan the Tall. And now after this fight, I think a more appropriate name would be Sir Duncan the Holy, with an E.
Right in his gut, or actually in his back?
Gut,
hold on,
back,
his leg.
Arm, leg, everywhere, Bubba. He is full of holes. All right, so a mixed reaction for myself on this. Bubba, what did you feel about this episode?
9 out of 10. That doesn't sound too mixed, Catfish. However, those triple Fs, those faulty flashbacks, they also affected my score. Because what I loved in this episode, it's just the mix of it. Hopefully nobody else felt this way, but somehow I am only going 8 double H's out of 10.
Wait, double H's?
Double H's is for my favorite place on the Dukes of Hazzard. That's the Hog's Head. The hog's head gets chopped off and fed to a hog. Yuck. I didn't mind a single thing in the flashback other than it took place at this moment in the episode. It felt like it killed the momentum for the fight. Like I was getting ready for the trial of seven. I was so pumped. I was ready. Then we go into the flashback. And then the flashback, I didn't know it took as long as you said, Catfish. Did you say 19 minutes?
19 minutes.
Once again, I didn't mind any of that content other than it was in this episode. I think if it had been last episode, because the flashback really felt like it was a reminder of how, in some way, Egg and Dunk's journey to become squires was very similar, it felt like. Like that was almost the main point of it.
Well,
then when we get back to the fight, which I love, 10 out of 10, brutal fight. Well, maybe
amazing.
not 10 out of 10. It took me a while to get back into the fight because we were suddenly, oh, wait, we're back here now. Even though I loved that fight, I said 10 out of 10 a second ago, there were still parts I was like, oh boy, I really wanted to see the Fossaway cousins beat on each other. Like we would see it in the distance, but I wanted to see them, go to town on each other. I wanted to see Darren the drunkard take his one hit and then take a dive and, be laying on the ground, kind of watching the battle for the rest of it.
All that, and that kind of stuff might have been helpful. The other thing is, and I actually don't mind it because again, this battle was amazing.
Yes.
But extending it, maybe having a few moments that were a little bit humorous would have helped. Anything. Let's extend this battle. Keep the episode as short as possible. But the flashback helps me not at all here, and as you said, stops the forward momentum of the fight.
I hope, listeners, that you didn't feel this, kind of momentum slowdown that I felt. I hope you loved this episode and went 10 out of 10. Because when I was into it, this fight, oh my God, I was into it. I was feeling, I wasn't getting hit with the sword and poked full of holes like you mentioned Dunk was, but every time it was like, oh my gosh, ouch, dear Lord.
Even though this is only a 7-on-7 fight, and we've had bigger battles, in the Game of Thrones universe, but this was beautifully done. And again, the fog of war, the disorientation, the trying to figure out what's going on between that tiny little. I mean, it was really just beautiful in all ways.
Yes. And so even though the flashback drove me a bit crazy, when we come back to the fight, like I said, it took me a while to get back into it. But that beautiful slow-mo of the ball at the end of the chain about to hit Dunk in the face, it's like, wake up, buddy, we are back. Holy smoke. Little Egg crying, get up, sir, get up, sir. I thought back to a movie I watched when I was a little kid called The Champ, where in that boxing movie, he's like, come on, champ, get up. Oh my God, so good. So I'm going 8 out of 10 because I loved so much in this episode. It's just, I would be dishonest if I didn't say that I felt like this. Oh, okay, now we're completely, all the momentum of the fight is gone as we're in this real interesting scene, but not maybe as engaging. And then when we got back to the fight, once again, it took me a while. It took me several punches. A bit like Dunk, I needed to be woken back up to really get into the brutality of it, and it was incredibly brutal.
What's funny is that what we both dinged this episode on was the flashback, and I found it even less enjoyable than you did, and yet still I gave this episode a higher ranking.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I learned anything from it, or there was any kind of helpful information, really.
Listeners, we love to say, who cares what we think? We're just hopefully your friend telling you what we thought. We want to know what you thought. Go down on the YouTube comments. Tell us what you thought about this episode. Are we too tough? I've seen some people who are even more brutal in their review of the flashbacks than we are. How did you feel? Your opinion really matters to us. Go down in the comments and let us know. If you're on social media, at @PHQ. The word double, the single letter P for podcast, HQ for headquarters, at @PHQ on a bunch of social media platforms that you're on. Plus, I want to know from you. Next week is the final episode of The Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Are we going to get a full trailer for House of the Dragon Season 3, which is coming up later this summer? Incredible. I can't wait to hear from you.
Bubba, I'm so excited to have some more just horrific childbirth scenes.
Listeners, I should also point out that we've got a
Yeah,
big calendar of shows we're going to be covering here in 2026, including Silo Season 3, House of the
love it.
Dragon, we just mentioned Season 3, Only Murders in the Building Season 6, Slow Horses Season 6, Babylon Berlin Season 5, so much. But we don't have release dates for any of those shows, so we are going to have a bit of a window now. We know you don't like it. We don't like it when we disappear for a month or two. So if there's something you're really watching right now, once again, go down on social media and tell us what you want us to cover. Now, in
Covering
both
it.
of our ratings,
Yes.
Catfish, in talking
Yes.
about this episode, both of our ratings, none of us brought up the tragic ending of Sir Baelor
Oh,
Targaryen, handed the king heir to the throne, his tragic end. And I know that we would never, ever make light of this moment in the show, which
absolutely not.
so many people have. I've seen people saying that it was tears, like this was the only good
Oh yeah.
Targaryen, and we lost him.
I mean, that was Lady Catfish. That's what she said when she saw what happened to Baelor. It was like, this is just so. I mean, a guy who came to help
Yeah.
honorably and brutal. Yeah, it's brutal.
So I think we need to honor him.
Okay, right. With a moment of silence, obviously.
And that moment of silence.
Okay, uh-huh.
And that moment of silence will be in the blank of the first match game. So are you ready, Catfish?
I'm ready, Bubba.
All the tourney attendees thought the trial of 7 was thrilling, except for Prince Baelor, who thought blank. This is your moment of silence. Catfish doing his theme song. Oh man, this is brutal, brutal, brutal. All right, Catfish. All the tourney attendees thought the trial of 7 was thrilling, except for Prince Baelor, who thought,
This haircut is going to take a while to grow out.
oh, he got a little taken off the back. Oh, Catfish, I said people were crying about this, and you're
Too
making
much.
light of it.
Too much. This is one of those. This is one of those hat haircuts. All right, Bubba.
With a
I'm
clipper.
going to read the question for you and give
Oh,
you
okay.
a little time. All right, Bubba. And just for those of you scoring at home, Bubba once again has been doing a wonderful job all season, coming up with the questions.
No, no.
And then because he doesn't want to rub it in your face how clever he is, then he also answers the question, and so therefore you don't feel so bad. Well, here we go, Bubba. This is your chance to come back. All right. All the tourney attendees who thought the trial of 7 was thrilling, except for Prince Baelor, who thought
It gave him a headache. Terrible.
all right, get the bell ready just in
Seven
case,
gods,
Bubba.
we forgive you. Seven gods,
Get the
forgive
bell
us.
ready in case some of our listeners
Okay, here's the
match
first one.
each other.
Here's the first one from a new listener, Boku's World. Prince Baelor thought, "Where is my mind?"
That is beautiful.
Very
That is beautiful.
Very
I
good.
love that.
Cam
All right, and
Shay
Cam
23.
Shay says, I was thinking what he was thinking. Well, this sucks.
How terrible. Okay, here we go. Hey, what was Prince Baelor thinking? According to our good buddy Pat Man on Blue Sky, Baelor thought he could have used some Tylenol beforehand.
There you go. You know what? Very smart. Use ahead of time so it has time to start acting up. All right, okay. And then, all right, here we go. Prince Baelor, who thought Matthew Murdoch says it was holy, but with an E, Bubba. Okay, so
He matches you for Duncan
from
Foley.
way up above. I love it.
Hey, Link
All right.
Hogthrob, a true double L, he said Prince Baelor thought nothing until he got it through his thick skull.
Oh,
People, he's dead. Come on.
He got it through his thick skull. That is beautifully
Terrible.
done.
Terrible.
All right, and Nicole at Night Wolf Nim, so good, said the tourney attendees thought the trial of 7 was thrilling, except for Prince Baelor, who thought it was a smash until his brains turned to mash.
He did the mash. Now, Gen X Cat Mob, all mod cons on Blue Sky, said Prince Baelor thought, man, I went to the tourney and all I got was this lousy head trauma.
Put it on a shirt.
Hey, now. Now, Bobby, here's somebody who finally pays their respects. Bobby
Right.
McCrae, who's at desert_buttons on Twitter, I believe. Bobby wrote, Prince Baelor thought his fingers feel like wood. Ooh.
Oh, and
Wait a minute.
Yes, hold on. I think we're right. Albert Godleski at A Godless Key said Prince Baelor thought a hair too long.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. People, he's dead. Come on. Caroline, Caro Joso. Oh, she said, what did Prince Baelor thought? Prince Baelor thought, I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates who said, I drank what?
Or Socrates. I love it. No, this is great, though. I love Notes as channel.
Terrible.
So good since Prince Baelor thought it was tough to keep an open mind.
Terrible. Oh, wait a minute. A true great listener. I haven't heard from him in a while. Tory Hunter at Mando Tory on Twitter. Prince Baelor thought it was just a little airy. Terrible. Oh, no. Now, John.
And John 8406 says Prince Baelor thought the tourney, we thought it was for numbskulls. Oh,
Numbskulls. Oh, wait a minute. Jack Clumpus at BT Back 11 on Twitter.
Love
What
it.
Prince Baelor thought, boy, CTE was only in the NFL. Dear.
Oh, and Dooley's left legs, once again, damning with faint praise. We're pouring one out, and Dooley says that Prince Baelor thought very little, actually. Lacking a cerebral cortex does that. Oh, and then,
Catfish, read this next one.
Mr.
Terrible.
Bill's Mafia Revere Terry says Prince Baelor thought about a third less.
No. Terrible. Nicholas Fortuna on Twitter. Prince Baelor thought he was thinking, but his thinking thoughts thought differently. Oh, wait a minute. Look at Hamlet instead.
Someone is going to match me. Hamlet is dead says, Baelor was thinking, I told the barber to just take a bit off the top. This is just too much.
Here we go.
Ring the bell. Oh my God.
Pour one out.
Oh, you know what? There was
Listeners-
a lot of respect and love for Baelor.
A lot of respect.
in those answers.
No, I think a lot of people thought, look, I am in such emotional pain. I need a laugh to get myself out of this.
Right.
And some people took that too far. Catfish, did you remember this? We always talk about how we both read, but you didn't remember the novella because you read it so long ago. Did you remember the fate of Prince Baelor? Tragic fate.
No, I was just as surprised as the rest of you, and I should have known. I mean, I'm thinking the whole time, again, ever since the beginning, not remembering any of this, I'm thinking the whole time, how is Dunk going to move forward after this show with his life not ruined, but not markedly improved? So, of course, every little thing that happens, you're like, oh, this is going to be great. Like, he's like, to Baelor, I am your man. And Baelor's like, you got it, pal. But Baelor wasn't thinking straight, clearly. So, I did not remember any of this. And this is just,
Oh, my God.
it's just heartbreaking.
It is.
For
It
somebody
is.
who's so dry. I mean, we really didn't get
No.
a lot of time with Baelor, but we felt the dignity in him and just, well, this happens a lot throughout pretty much all of the people in charge, the people who are in line to be in charge, and all the Game of Thrones universes. There's not a lot of maturity in these people. And Baelor was like a mature adult person who was reasonable and not a monster. So therefore, clearly, he got to go.
Listeners, what did you feel? We were obviously celebrating with our ridiculous tongue-in-cheek like we always did. You gave us incredible answers. But hey, what did you feel at the end of that scene? We're going to get to some of your feedback later, but we record these podcasts so quickly after the episode. We really want to know how you guys took this just tragic turn at the end. Now,
Rough.
Catfish,
I'm telling Mother.
even though we kept pointing out our frustration with the flashback, we both rated this episode incredibly high, and it deserved it. We go in
Absolutely.
this part of the podcast, we go to your favorite scene. What in this episode was it?
This is not typical. I'm just going to have to wrap the entire fight up because it was just so beautifully done. In every single part of the production was magnificent. I can't pick anything other than the extended fight scene.
That is exactly where I'm
Yeah.
going. I'll pick a different scene because I feel like we need to talk about more scenes, and we will in a bit. But if my favorite was that incredible fight between Dunk and Prince Aerion, I'm going to go with Baelor's death as a really good scene. I remembered the novella, I knew it was coming, and I was like, how are they going to portray this? Because when Baelor comes in and he's speaking the logical way he's always spoke, and he's being the character we've always known. And he's
I
not.
mean, he seems a little bit
Yes.
colder, which is interesting because as you're on Dunk's side, you're thinking, well, what does this mean for Dunk? Like,
Right.
has he kind of changed his mind after this fight? So you're thinking about it, how it's affecting Dunk and not because there's something going on with him.
Right. I wasn't sure if it was a bit of the camera work or if there was a little bit of wiggle or just kind of him constantly finding, hey, I've got to, find my balance as I'm standing here. But once again, I knew it was coming because I remember this from the novella. And when Raymond Fossaway is like, yeah, I can't take this off. Goodman, he calls him instead of Steely Pate. He's like, Goodman Pate, come help me with this. And then even Steely Pate didn't realize how bad it was until the helmet actually came off. This helmet was keeping his skull relatively in place, you would assume. And then once it's off,
Yeah.
oh my God. Oh my God, that's horrific. Horrific.
I mean, you feel so many things there because you feel bad for him because he's the honorable guy. You feel bad for Dunk because Dunk's going to get in trouble for this, even though Dunk wasn't the one who suggested the 7-on-7. Dunk would have been okay fighting 1-on-1, but he's still going to get in trouble for that. Not only is he going to get in trouble for that, but now pretty much the guy who could protect him, he gone.
Catfish, you are so right. One thing I was thinking about is I've mentioned a couple of times in previous episodes, I'm like, well, why isn't there like one of the Kingsguard next to Baelor protecting him? We had a scene where Prince Baelor and accused royal puncher Dunk were in the same room, and I'm like, shouldn't a Kingsguard be in this room, all the two of them together, to make sure Dunk didn't do anything? And I kept thinking, gosh, there's like only Team Dunk is on the scene when Baelor dies. And I'm like, please let everybody believe the story that they're going to tell. Like, hey, we took off the helmet and oh my God. In his last words, I'm pretty sure Prince Baelor's last words were talking about the brother who theoretically killed him. He's like, yeah, he's strong. Like, wasn't that his last words? Oh my gosh. Oh, what a way to go.
Well, Bubba, that is. Now, look, you smartly, and again, one of the things I said I've loved about this show is that I don't need to know who's who and what's going on. But now I'm afraid I need to know a little bit because we've lost Baelor here. So tell me, I'm in Dunk's position, and now I need to know who in charge now. So who's up, Bubba? Who's up now?
Well, I am, don't come to me for these things in real life or maybe in fantasy, but this is
Okay.
what I believe the succession was. Currently, there's a king who hasn't appeared on the show at all. He has the name that the drunkard does, but it's King Darren II. So Darren II is king. His heir to the throne was Baelor. Baelor, as you like to say, he gone. Now, second in line to the throne was Baelor had a son, and that son's Valar. We have seen him. We saw a scene earlier where Aerion was like, "I'm not going to challenge you today, cousin," but I'm not sure this cousin has ever said a line on the screen, right? But now Prince Valar who has jousted in this tourney. In fact, Dunk at one point said, "Oh, I'll put my money on him, Prince Valar." And Egg was like, "I don't know about that." So now Valar is heir to the throne. Baelor has yet another son who has not appeared in the show. Mataris, who was third in line, is now second in line. So let's get to Dunk. And we're doing this, listeners, because we had that crazy prophecy from the kind of, witchy lady who was like, "You'll be king, but you're going to die in a fire and your friends will be
Everyone will
everybody
hate you.
everybody
Yeah.
will be happy you're gone." So okay, so currently Valar is now heir. We have this other son of Baelor, Mataris, who is second in line. Baelor has yet another brother who has not appeared in the show called Ares. He's now third in line. He has another brother who has not appeared in the show called Rhaegel, and he's fourth in line.
Socrates, yes.
All right, then we've got
kidding.
that Rhaegel has a son, excuse me. Rhaegel has a son called Alor, and he's now fifth in line. Then finally, we get to somebody who's been on the show, the character we like to call, and his brother, Maker, who's now
Oh,
sixth
boy.
in line. The Drunken, Darren the Drunken, who partially caused all this trouble, right? He's seventh in line. Aerion Bright Flame, who really caused all this trouble, he's eighth in line. There's the son who they're going to send to be a maester, who's now ninth in line. And Egg, little Egg, who wants to be a squire, is now 10th in line to the throne, Catfish. Woo.
Okay. All right. So that's great as far as that goes. I mean, I assume there's miles to go before Egg dies horribly and friendless. My concern more is
Yeah.
who is here who can take up for Dunk.
That's a great question.
If Valar may take up for Dunk, but if Valar wasn't here, and
And then the next most powerful person is, and his brother, Maker,
who is the dad who fought?
who fought maybe a
Okay.
bit too strong because he seemingly just crushed in his older brother's skull. Yuck. Would Valar, let's talk about this. Predict it, Catfish. You're Valar. Your dad joined a fight on behalf of this hedge knight you've never heard of, and your dad died in that fight, and he was killed, most likely, probably not on purpose, by your uncle. You're Valar. Are you going to look at Dunk and say, "My dad fought for you, so you'll always have a seat at my table"? Or are you going to think, "You lowly hedge knight, if you had just kind of begged for forgiveness, my dad might still be alive"?
I mean, I think it depends on his opinion for Aerion and his not just his opinion, but his attitude. Is he afraid? Does he want to lord it over him? That kind of stuff. Because again, you can sell this in one way, as you just did, that Dunk is the founder of all these troubles. You could put it on Aerion because Aerion was too chicken shit to fight Dunk one-on-one.
Right. Or do you once again blame your uncle for, "Hey, you what are you doing? You just bashed in my dad's brains."
Right. You could also do that. It's just so.
Well,
So
let me
that's
ask
what
you
I'm
this:
curious about.
Can,
Yeah.
can you do both though? Because once again, your concern is Dunk. Is Dunk? He went from the frying pan into the fire. Is he now on a different fire? Like, because Valar could hate Aerion and say, "This is your fault." He could hate his uncle, saying, "What are you doing, swinging your mace around, bashing my dad's brains in?" And he could still hate Dunk, right? Like, there's no his opinion.
True.
Maybe it's smart that the show has really kept him as a non-character because, right, we don't know how he's going to react to this.
Yeah. No. That is absolutely true. I. But you're right. We absolutely don't know. So it's fascinating because that is a known unknown. I think a known though is that Arion's not going to respond too well to this either. I don't think he's the kind of honorable person who'll be like, "You bested me in the ring. I tip my cap to I tip my dragon helm to you, sir."
Right.
No.
Yeah. Live and let live. You are going to be known now, Aerion, as the guy who lost to this big brute, right? Like, yeah, you're never gonna suddenly be, hey, Dunk, let's hug it out, right? He's
No, no,
always he's
absolutely
a
not.
he's a representation of your failure. Arion's never gonna like this guy.
No. I mean, I didn't think he would ever going to like him, but the question now is he in any less danger from Aerion than he was before?
Oh,
And
that's a
the
good
answer
call.
is seems like he's in more danger than he was now.
Oh man, how is Dunk gonna get out of this scrape if you assume he is?
I assume he's going to get out of this scrape the way he's gotten into and out of all the good scrapes on this show, and that is our boy Egg.
Oh, there you go. That would be great. Listeners, what do you think? If you haven't read the novella, reach out, go down in the comments. How is Dunk going to get out of this? He one step forward, a million steps
I'm
back.
telling Mother.
Before we get to our classic game of Immoral Dilemma, Catfish, let's talk a little behind the scenes stuff. We were just talking about, hey, they're going to make season two. They're making season two. How about this? Do you know that the actor who portrays Lionel Baratheon, he says, several years ago, obviously a decade ago, he had two auditions for the original series, Game of Thrones. He
I love it.
auditioned to play Theon Greyjoy, and then he didn't get that part. And then, believe it or not, he also auditioned to play Oberyn Martell, and he didn't get that part. What do you think about that? You glad this guy held out so long to where he could be the laughing storm, or could you imagine this guy being good in some of those other characters?
I think he would have been great as the other two. Theon, he would have been good as that. I mean, I don't know if he would have been so deliciously. I mean, the actor playing Theon has such a great sourpuss face.
And Alfie
Like
Allen, we
he's
love him.
like Alf, like he's got resting. I've been screwed by the world face, which is perfect for Theon. Perfect for Theon. Oberyn. Also, I think this actor would have been great as in either of those parts.
I do too. We love the actors we got in Alfie Allen and Pedro Pascal, but this guy's
Absolutely.
been great so far, and he could have done a lot. Now, we have not seen many scenes, really, of the character Darren the Drunken, Egg's oldest brother, but that actor Henry, Ashton, he claims he auditioned to play Jon Snow. Can you believe it?
Jon Snow. Well, there are a lot of people who audition for these parts. The really interesting things are when you're like, okay, this person was part of like the last group of five or six they considered,
Yeah.
where they would actually do, they go through a regular audition, they go through the producers, they might go through another producer session, and then they have a studio audition, whoever's producing it, and then there's a network audition, and that they only bring like five people to. So it's more interesting the higher they get up. I mean, I myself have actually auditioned for some decent roles, but I would never say like I almost had that part because I didn't even go. It was just
No,
an
you.
initial audition.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Listeners, do you think these guys would have been okay in the characters they auditioned for many, many,
I'm
many
telling Mother.
years ago? Okay, let's stop holding off. Let's get to our immoral dilemma, Catfish, and you've got a great one for our first dilemma we're going to have to debate.
I mean, all we talked about last week was Baelor sticking up for honor and doing the right thing. And the first thing he says is, okay, here's the plan. The King's Guards aren't going to mess with me. So I'm just going to do this. And he even gets called out for it. And he's like, meh,
Well, hold
them's,
on.
them's the breaks.
Well, Catfish, I think this is a very smart call out. The member of Dunk's team with the eye patch, the maddest knight in all of Westeros, he's like, Baelor, is it honorable that you're doing this and three members of the other team can't attack you at all? And what was Baelor's response? He's like, well, yeah, let's let the gods decide. The gods may not have been happy with this legal loophole, man. Ooh. Do you think it was honorable of Baelor to do it, Catfish?
The
That's
gods have rendered their justice. Well, even though he admits that it may not be quite fair, he's still only one guy, and he's fighting with some real. I don't even know if you would call them up and comers. They're just kind of comers, or they might be levers, down in levers.
man.
he is fighting on the side of honor, even if
Yeah.
he doesn't. I mean, the game is rigged. Anytime you got three of the Kingsguard on one side and zero on the other, it's rigged.
Okay, well, I completely agree with you. Listeners, what do you think? Here's another, maybe not moral dilemma, but kind of question that our boy Lionel Baratheon brings up. He says, no man fights so fierce as one neglected by his mother. Now, that may be foreshadowing of Dunk fighting really great in this episode, and he was apparently neglected by his mother, or his mother, may have died and couldn't come back to him. What do you think, Catfish? Do you agree with this homespun theory of Lionel Baratheon's?
I don't know where he comes up with this theory, whether he has
Right.
personal understanding of it. We go through life and we have these experiences. I mean, I lived in San Francisco for a while, and after a while, I noticed every person that I knew who was really, really weird had actually grown up in San Francisco. And so I created my own axiom that growing up in San Francisco made you a little wacky.
Okay. Okay. That certainly explains 49er fans. I love it. And Warrior fans. I mean, that's good. There are these terrible stereotypes, or I'm not even sure they're stereotypes, but you've heard of, small man syndrome, where like, hey, I'm really short, so I'm always trying to, show that I'm not a short guy, that I'm just as strong and tough as anybody, right? And maybe if you're the ignored child, you do kind of act out, hey, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. Maybe there is something to Lionel Baratheon's thoughts. Why was he dissing that at his own team member? He's kind of almost dissing Baelor in it. He's like, listen, you Targ. People talk pretty tough, almost to the Targ's faces in this show. Man, they threw a rock at Aerion when they weren't happy with him. I mean, this is some crazy stuff.
There's some long-standing issues with the Targaryens, which we've discussed earlier.
Okay, Catfish, are you ready for this next immoral dilemma, or at least a question of a life question?
Okay.
So we've got this evil member of the Gold Cloaks, which are once again the King's Landing City Watch, or should just consider him an ICE agent, Alistair, who has this self-justification when stealing from our friend Dunk. He says, stealing from high-born corpses, that's theft, that's stealing. Me, a crooked cop, taking your coin, that's just life. Oh, what a jerk. What a jerk. Do you agree with this SOB, Alistair?
I mean, Bubba, that's just the way life is. It just depends on whose bull is being gored.
Well, Rafe, Dunk's friend, she has a lot of, almost foreshadowing things in this. She's like, people don't forget, people don't forget. You hurt them, they're going to hurt you. And they hurt her really bad, obviously. And I mean, yes, is this Catfish? I've seen some people online calling this death of a female companion of Dunk's as the term fridging, where a female character's death helps inspire a male character to kind of, his path, his victory. Did you see it that way? Why do you think the show, and I should point out this is not in any of the novellas, why do you think the show created this horrific end for Dunk's friend Rafe?
Bubba, once again, one of the things I've talked about this show is it's light and it's fun, and there are stakes to it. But there are certain things that don't happen that happen in other Game of Thrones shows. So yeah, I completely understand people not being happy with like a woman being brought up and then boom, she gets killed because it's not great, Bubba. It's not great.
Brutal, a brutal world, and a brutal end for
I know,
Rafe.
I know. You know what? It is a brutal world, but I have to tell you, Bubba,
Yeah.
I don't know if you have ever heard of this website. Now, I love to go see horror movies, but now before I go see a horror movie and I take Lady Catfish, we
Yeah.
have to go to the website doesthedogdie.com.
That's a real site. That's a
That's
real
a real
website.
site. You plug in the movie. They've now added it, so they've got a lot of other things that people could feel upset about. So it's not just that, but that's how it started. Doesthedogdie.com. And I forgot to check it. And we went to a movie the other day, and a dog indeed gets killed. And that's it. That's it. Lady Catfish is done with a movie. So it's
Mm.
like, again, it's like, I don't, why does that become a proxy for like, oh, these people are evil. They will kill a dog. Okay, that's fine, but I don't want to effing see it. And I completely understand if, even if it didn't happen, they brought her up and then she got killed. I'm with people who are not happy about that. Completely understand.
Catfish, do you go to this site and you're like, I want to make sure it's valid? And do you type in Old Yeller?
You can type in almost every movie. This
Okay,
was
all
not
right.
even a horror movie we went to. And as
Okay.
soon as the dog showed up in the movie, I'm like, I can't believe I didn't go to this website.
Oh,
Please do
no.
not. And then boom, gone.
All right, Catfish, this isn't an immoral dilemma, but I want to know your
Okay.
thoughts after this terrible death of Rafe. Dunk has nothing. He's been told, "Hey, you want a family? Go find your own family. Go
Right.
get one, take one." And he just suddenly starts following the man who saved him from those evil gold cloaks, Sir Arland. And Sir Arland, oh my God, this guy really loves a Dothraki drinking song, maybe a Dothraki a chant, because he sings it what feels like 2 weeks. But Dunk is following and kind of not really approaching, but just kind of following Sir Arlen all this time. Did Sir Arlen not have any idea because he's a drunk and he's doing whatever he wants? Or did Sir Arlen let this boy follow him? And then finally, once the boy collapsed, he thought, you know what, okay, let me tell this boy to get up. What do you think?
Was it? But I thought he had. It feels to me that Dunk collapsed at least one time before and then able to catch up. It wasn't like he saved him in his first collapse. It was only because he was slow and drunk that Dunk was able to catch him more than once. He was able to know that Dunk is being abused and able to
Yeah.
kick those other dudes' asses while being drunk. He knows he's being followed.
He knows he's being followed. There's that
Yeah.
one time where he's leaving in the morning, and it's almost like he's singing that Dothraki song especially loud to wake Dunk up and say, "Hey, if you want to go, we're going." So I think he did know he was the boy was following him, even if that wasn't going to cut down on his drinking at all. Drinking and driving, drinking and horsing. Sir Arlen does it all. Drinking and killing gold cloaks. Sir Arlen does it
Dr- dr-
all under the
Drinking
influence.
and Dothrakiing.
Okay, here's a moral dilemma for you,
Okay.
Catfish, or immoral dilemma. Let's talk about the like son, like father act of and his brother, Maker. So, Maker, you were talking about killing a dog. Maker kills Lionel's horse. And he probably didn't realize he was doing it, but he did crush his older brother's skull. Now, in the fight, we didn't really, like I said, I wanted to see the Fossaway twins going at it, or excuse me, because I wanted to see the Fossaway cousins going at it. We didn't see that, but we did have a scene of Maker, saying, "My boy, that's my boy," and him running, and that's, he said that, and you could kind of give that as a motivation for, hey, Lionel Bratton's charging me. I got to protect my son. Your horse is dead, Lionel. Tough luck. And then, both Lionel and Prince Baelor were holding him back, and he fights him off. And I'm pretty sure in the episode you can see the good shot to the back of the head that he gives to his brother. So, is Bakor in deep trouble? Is he sinful? Has he been immoral? Or is, hey, what happens in a trial of seven? It's all good. It's all fine. You can kill your opponent's horse. We're having the seven gods look down on us and make judgment. What says you, moral or immoral?
You're really giving me a hard puzzle here because I love my boy Maker. You know I love him.
I
I love
love
him
him
for
too.
a sourpuss quip, but let's just say that he hasn't shown the greatest leadership being dragged into this BS by one of his own sons instead of shutting it down.
Right. Right. I think the one thing I definitely agree with you, Catfish, is the way I read this is if Maker had really wanted to, he could have put an end to this. Last week, was it just last week at the table where it was like, what are you doing
Yeah.
this Andal BS just because you're afraid to fight him? I think if push had come to shove, if he had pushed, I think he could have had this be a one-on-one fight with his son and this guy. I mean,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
so therefore he's immoral or he did immoral things in the fight? What would you say there?
Yeah, absolutely. Immoral. Immoral, but still, he's got a place in my heart.
Catfish, I think he has a place in your heart because it was immoral.
Don't ruin it for the listeners, Bubba. Let them discover that on their own.
Oh, okay, okay,
All
all
right,
right.
Bubba. Hey,
I'm
listen.
telling Mother.
This is the section
Oh, here
where,
we
for
go.
the first four episodes, we have done the song of ice cold and fire. You want me to say it that way, even though it sounds better if you say Song of Fire and Ice
Ice cold.
Cold, where we talk about the jokes in this episode and the funny lines. You know what, Bubba? There
Yeah.
was not any in this episode. There was not one. Even if it's like amusing, nothing, Bubba. Not in this
Now,
episode.
wait a minute. What about that hilarious
Tell
scene
me.
in the
Yeah.
flashback where
Yeah, oh, great,
Dunk
yes.
is robbing horseshoes from dead horses, and
Yeah.
it turns out this
And
one
teeth,
soldier,
yeah.
right, and teeth, right, and it turns out this one soldier has bad breath, and so Dunk starts covering his mouth.
Right. Yes. Doug starts covering his mouth. I'm glad you didn't bring that up in the immoral part. Shh, 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 Dunk. Shh. Nothing, not one thing in this episode. I didn't mind it. It was great. I did say maybe they could have done a couple things that kind of like is somewhere inside the battle that would have been amusing.
Did you find
didn't
it
mind that at all.
amusing at all? Did you find it amusing at all when Dunk decided to possibly spay or neuter Prince Aerion with that slice on his upper thigh? Ooh,
Well, I thought
God.
if he gets the
Oh, man.
femoral artery, this
Yeah.
is all over.
Yeah. Oh my God. Ooh, not good. Oh boy. hmm Listeners, if there was anything you laughed at this episode, see your doctor.
You require medication.
I'm telling Mother.
Okay, Catfish, let's go to
Yeah,
our
tell
next
me.
segment. Who won the week? Who is the champion of episode 5? Now, we got some great feedback from a great listener. We love Caroline, Caro Joso on a bunch of social media. She had a champion for episode 4. She said Steely
hear
Pate was
Oh,
her champion of the 4th episode when he only charged Dunk a copper for that work on the shield. Caroline wrote, I approved. It shows that even when we have a little to give, we can still help somebody out. Now, that is a great point, Steely Pate. Maybe you couldn't call him a champion in this episode because the main thing he did was, well, he suggested, hey, we could do this to help Dunk get better. Prince Baelor was like, that's not going to help. And then Steely Pate took off the helmet. So I'm not going to give him the champion this week.
okay. Well, you know what? Someone gave it to him last week. You can't
Right.
have it every week, Bubba.
Right, no.
All right. So, Bubba, who is going to be your champion this week?
Okay, so one person went into this trial of 7 as a squire, got knighted, and then somehow, even though, like, what armor did he have? Somehow
Nothing. A jerkin.
survived. Right. He had somehow I did see him before he put on his helmet. He did have, he did have some steel dressing and stuff. So the winner has to be Raymond Fossaway. Like Prince Baelor knew his name. He's like, hey, Raymond, help me get my helmet off. Like, people know who Raymond is now. This is incredible. He went from being a lowly squire to House Fossaway, and I should say that, as terrible as what his cousin Stefan did last week, if you really know the history, these Fossaways used to be lords, and suddenly they got bumped down to landed knights. And so
Oh,
Stefan now has got the family a lordship again, which, once again, he did it in the most dishonorable way, but he was moving on up. So the fact that you are you are literally this guy's squire. Now you're a knight. You just survived the trial of 7, which hasn't been done in a century. Raymond Fossaway, my champion of the week.
it's interesting. What it makes me think of is, and again, we both were just so impressed and loved the fight, but it still would have been nice to see how some other people fared. We don't really see a lot of that. I don't know if anything happened to anybody
Right,
we
yeah.
don't know. We don't see how our boy Fostaway survives.
Yeah.
So Bubba,
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to this week. You've done this in the past,
Uh-oh.
and I'm going to give it to this week. My champion. Now, look,
Yeah.
you can get in the ring and fight, but some people, that's never going to be their thing.
Okay.
They can't fight in the ring. They won't be allowed to fight in the ring.
No.
All they can do is stand on the outside of the system and cheer for better hope in the system. So for me, the champion of the week
Yeah.
is the friendly redheaded whore from cheering from the stands, Bubba. You knew it was coming and you approve. I can tell.
I approve. That character officially, we've referred to her by her profession, but sure enough, her character name on the show is Red. So therefore, we're very, very true. Let me say this actress is lovely. I looked up, I'm like, have I ever seen her before? Apparently she was, spoiler alert, in the Halloween Party, Agatha Christie, A Haunting in Venice movie. She had a part in that. So I have seen her before. But the fact that this show, we were just talking about last week how it doesn't have many women. The fact that she's appeared in so many episodes and she didn't have to fight, I think that is a great champion. She might be the series, the first season champ at this rate. How about this? I love predictions. Yeah. Do you think we'll see her? Will we see Red in the final episode?
Obviously, yes. Obviously, we have to. You can't have an episode without her. She's the secret MVP.
Well, maybe. What if we find out next week? They're like, "Hey, Red, how you doing?" She's like, "Oh, great. I don't even have to work as a whore anymore. This puppet show needed somebody, and so no, I'm kidding.
I'm telling Mother. Oh.
They could have used her. They're like, you know what? We don't have any gasoline tonight. We need to use you for the dragon fire. Just your hair.
Okay,
just your hair. Dragon fire. No, the hair in her head. Don't be dirty.
Don't be dirty.
Bubba. Jeez. All right, well, listen, there's only one way to corral you back into sanity, that's to do match game number 2. All right, Bubba, here comes s1e05 loves the nightlife. That's with a K. s1e05 loves the nightlife. He likes blank. Okay. Player number 2. s1e05 loves the nightlife. He likes
other nights' deaths. He loves the nightlife. He likes other nights to die. There you go. This was
okay,
one.
Do you want to phrase it in?
No.
Is there another different way you can phrase it that might be funny? You've tried to.
Listen, I think this is hard to come up with these questions. You do not believe. It's like, this show ends at 10:30 at night. I'm like, okay, let me think of something. All right, so here we go.
How about s1e05 loves the nightlife? He likes the night death.
There you go.
Right, anyway, go ahead, Bubba. All right, go ahead. Let's give it to me, Bubba.
I should point out that as I was writing it, I was like, wait a minute, how does that old song go? So sure enough, I wrote it, s1e05 loves the nightlife. He likes
the boogie.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes, yeah.
Right, so let's hear your answer, Catfish. s1e05 loves the nightlife. He likes
Dothraki karaoke.
There you go. Now,
all right, but always better. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Always better. These are always better. These are always better, and I've taken a peek. Some of these are really good, Catfish. Get ready. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go to Jack Klompus. s1e05 loves the nightlife. He likes
to chase a shot of whiskey with a shot of whiskey.
Shot? More like a bottle.
All right, and Cam Shay 23 says s1e05 likes the drink.
Hey, that's a match. That's close. A match. Hey, good work.
No, I don't know. This is sort of somewhere in between myself and a drink. Our good buddy Albert Godleski at A Godless Key says s1e05 likes Dothraki horse piss.
All right, we love people who have never responded before. I don't think we've had an answer from Carolyn NYC on Blue Sky before. She says, s1e05 likes the nightlife. He likes speaking and singing in Dothraki. At least according to closed captioning. Hey, I love they're fleshing him out. All right, Carolyn, very good job. Very
All
good
right, here
job.
we go, Bubba. Because you were so fixated on this last week,
This is good. This is
our
good.
good buddy Matthew Murdoch
Yeah.
responds, Sir Arlen loves the nightlife. He likes apples.
Matt, I hope you're listening, Matt. Matt, because he spills the apples in this episode, I was actually giggling about your answer of apples for a good hour there, Matt. Thank you so much. It made me laugh pretty good. Oh no, Hamlet is dead. Here we go. Another good loyal listener with some great answers. Sir Arlen loves the nightlife. He loves sticking people with things. And yes, that's a reference to both his long sword metal and his short sword flesh. Terrible. Terrible.
More like long and medium. All right, Bobby McCreary at does_it_button says Sir Arlen likes the nightlife. He likes feeding the pigs.
Oh, that is very good. He definitely did that in this episode. Okay, now we know Mando Tory Hunter on Twitter had to go there. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
This one's good. Sir Arlen loves the nightlife. He likes loose-fitting trousers.
All right, this is pretty close,
This is good. Here we
but
go.
not good enough. Pat Spinago at
Now
Pat Man
this
Blue
you
Sky
have to
says,
sing it, Catfish. He loves the
okay,
nightlife.
nightlife,
He likes
He
to
loves
Dothraki.
Dothraki, on the
Okay.
Dothraki sky. Oh yeah.
Get
okay,
ready.
all
We're
right,
gonna have a
all
lot
right.
more songs. Get ready.
All right.
Here's Nicole at Night Wolf Nim on Blue Sky. He loves the nightlife. He likes to
Sing
sing.
about the Muna and the Juna and the Springer, but in Dothraki. The Muna and the Juna and the Springer. All right, Dooley Left Leg says he likes to shake his hips and windmill his knight's tail to the sound of Dothraki disco.
Everybody's
Hell
saying
yes.
Dothraki. Here we go. Gen X Cat Mom. He loves the nightlife. He likes to boogie with the sword in his hand. Oh yeah. Thank you, Gen X Cat Mom.
All right, and your old buddy Bucho at Fist of Bucho says he likes the nightlife. He loves to
likes to
boogie
boogie.
to songs with made up words.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Nice. And I love the people who really leaned into the song. I love it.
Thank you very much. Hey, Catfish, it is time
Talk to me.
for our tourney battle. This is where
Oh,
you
boy.
and I entered the melee, Catfish. But we
Okay.
don't have 7. This is mano a mano. So,
Oh, except for the 3 nights watch I brought with me the right behind.
so let's go back to those questions we asked at the beginning of the podcast, Catfish.
Okay.
We're going to do all 3.
All
The
right, I
first
love it.
question we asked was, if Aerion hadn't yielded, would Dunk have killed him? Dunk was a squire. We're going to assume he's never killed anybody. This is a trial of 7, trial by combat. He could have killed Aerion, couldn't he? I mean, you said it. If he had hit that artery in the guy's leg, he would be dead. He would be dead immediately.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Would Dunk have killed him if he hadn't yielded?
Ooh. I think that's a great question because I never considered. I mean, you're in the heat of the battle. He almost got killed himself.
Yeah.
You think he would, and he really went ham on Arion's face with his fist. But if I think it came down to doing the killing blow, I think he was a hesitated quite. I think he was a hesitated enough for Aerion to get another couple shots in. In other words, I don't think he was at the point where he would have killed them outright.
Yeah.
It would have taken more. I think
No.
that's a great call.
I think Dunk, if it had been an accident, like if he had hit that artery in the leg, then yes, he could have. But if he had the choice, like, hey, I'm on top of this guy, I'm railing him with my fist, I could, I must have some sort of weapon around me that could go right up right up into his brain. I don't think Dunk would have done that. Dunk wanted to protect the puppeteer. He didn't, he beat the hell out of Aerion, and he's going to defend himself here. But he didn't really have hatred for the Targaryens like we've heard a lot of people express. So I don't think he would have killed him on purpose. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Listeners, what do you think?
I mean, until you asked that question, I haven't even considered that. But I think you're right. So yeah, let's hear what you think. And Bubba, this is another great question.
All right.
Are the 7 kingdoms screwed now that Baelor won't be king? Now, as you know, I take a very pessimistic view on the people who were born to lead in the Seven Kingdoms. And so I think if I were to change that question to, are the Seven Kingdoms screwed now that blank will be king? And that blank was anybody who could be king. I think the answer would be yes. The Seven Kingdoms are just screwed with any of their leadership.
I think that's a great call. Now, we believe, once again, I don't think it's been stated in the show, but according to the lore books, we're supposed to believe this is, there was the Blackfire Rebellion that we saw, Dunk collecting, shoe horses from dead horses, shoes from dead horses and teeth, and like you were saying, and the leather of the Blackfire, which the one guy said, we don't accept Blackfire leather here. Trade that traitor stealth elsewhere. But theoretically, that was the last large scale war. And so and that's about 12 years ago based on, the books and stuff. So 12 years of no major war is 12 years enough to say the current king is good, but okay. And then Valar, once again, if he's next in line, we know nothing about him. We knew Baelor was a good guy. Now, we've also seen good people, once you have absolute power, it corrupts absolutely. So there's no
Right.
guarantee that Baelor would have been good, but it's almost like the devil, we knew Baelor, and I hate to call him a devil, but we knew Baelor, and we knew, at least for the beginning, he was going to be a good king. And so being left in
Right.
this kind of limbo where we as viewers and readers don't really know anything, yeah, I think it's a likely possibility we're screwed. I,
Well, you know what? You helpfully went through the list of people who would either have to be killed, well, the people who would have to be killed or shoved aside
right.
before Egg gets in control. So if any of those people well, let's just put it this way. I won't even go through all that. We see Egg now, and he seems like a very decent guy, and yet he's going to end up with no friends and
Yeah.
dying horribly. It just doesn't go well in the Seven Kingdoms.
So there's Valar, who we've seen on the show but don't know. He's now the heir. We have Anda's brother Makor, who's now sixth in line. Would you worry if he was king? Maybe if you're Dunk, you'd worry if he was king. Would you worry if he was king, Catfish?
If I was anywhere between Aerion and the throne, I would be very
Oh boy.
worried.
Okay, that's a good call. How about his the brother Darren the Drunken? Yeah, he's in between
Mhm.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Listeners, what do you think? You think we thought we had a pretty good handle, but Catfish, you were right. There weren't many scenes of Baelor, but how screwed are the Seven Kingdoms now? And now our final question, Catfish, which is also a great question, but this we have to kind of put ourselves in the Lord Ashford's
The
crowd here.
poor son of a gun. It's not just the crowd, it's Lord Ashford. This is all going to be a wonderful, delightful tournament.
Right.
Lots
He
of
went
crowd
broke. He was
favorites.
going broke throwing this. Now he did get, members of the royal family to his town, to his castle, but he's gone broke, and he was gonna have to cheat to somehow get out of these troubles. Is anybody going to stay? Is there going to be the rest of the tournament? What do you think? Hey, everybody, the heir to the throne just died, but up next we've got a great joust.
Yeah, right, right, right. Well, I mean, okay, so that's all the people who are participating. What about all the people who are watching? You're like, hey guys, no, don't worry about it. Look, I know the Rolling Stones played last night, but we got Jim and Mary from two towns over playing music tonight. Why don't you hang out? I mean, nothing can match what has just happened. So I think,
Is anybody going to
I
give a
was,
double F
I
about the
don't
rest of the
think,
tournament, Catfish? That was your question.
I think the tournament is over.
Okay, well then, how about a final question?
Yeah.
What's in worse shape? Lord Ashford's chance of getting his money back, or or the Seven Kingdoms? Which is in more trouble? Which is more likely to have a good ending here?
I mean, never pick the Seven Kingdoms
All right, Lord
to have a good
Ashford. All
ending.
right,
Yeah,
let's
Lord
go.
Ashford, there you go. Get those
Yay.
nuts, buddy.
Listeners, we always say, what do you think? Go down in those YouTube comments. Let us know at double PHQ on social media.
The other thing I just thought,
What's that?
and Lord Ashford's big plan would have been all for naught now. Who's gonna take his son against the guy who bested Aerion?
Yeah, that's a great point. You got to find a new sap. But then, of course, Dunk. What kind of shape is Dunk going to be to joust? He's going to be down for like a week, right?
Oh, just a week?
I
You
mean, a
mean
month.
he's going to be down 2 days per hole, per gaping hole he has in his body?
Come back next month for my daughter's 13th and 1 month birthday.
I do like your optimism. He'll be fine in a few days.
Do we want to pour one out? We poured one out for
Yeah, let's
Baylor,
do
but
it. Yeah.
we had also the Humphreys, Humphrey Harding. Remember, he was the guy who
Hmm.
who broke his leg because Aerion killed his horse, and he was like, "I'll be fine as long as I'm on my horse." He fell off his horse. I keep saying we didn't see much of the battle, but I'm pretty sure we saw Sir Harding fall off his horse like a minute into it, so he didn't survive.
Yeah,
Uh,
him and Beesbury.
him and
First
Beesbury.
pass, gone.
Right. They're like, okay, everybody, who am I lined up with? Okay, Fossaway, you're going to attack your evil cousin. Okay, Dunk, you're going after Arian. That makes a lot of sense. Who am I lined up against? A King's Guard member. What?
I'm telling Mother.
All right, Bubba,
Yeah.
let's finally get into some feedback. And
Yes.
Bubba, we got some real this I love it. I love it when we say stuff and people are like, I need to correct these idiots on this ridiculous stuff they're saying.
Heck yeah.
So the feedback on whether it's the best Game of Thrones show already, Alberto N came in hard and hot. He says,
Yes.
how can a show that does in 4 episodes what House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones did in two be better than the first two?
Whoa.
I'm not saying it's bad, but it is too damn slow. And
Oh,
the fact
no.
is, episodes that are not even an hour long is an insult to viewers. This show is slower than Task, and that show is overrated as hell.
Wow. Alberto coming hard. You weren't kidding. Now,
Alberto brought it.
let me say that, the slow. I'm not sure I've ever said this show is slow. I've said that the stakes in those first couple episodes are low. But what do you think about this? I think Alberto raises an interesting question here, Catfish, about, this. You forget that it's only 6 episodes. These episodes, some of them are barely scratching 30 minutes long. Is that he calls it an insult to viewers? Do you consider it an insult to viewers? Do you think it's, hey,
I
just
mean,
each
look,
show is different, or what do you think?
this is Alberto's opinion,
Hmm.
and obviously I stated my opinion last time, and Alberto disagrees with me. So I'm not going to try to convince Alberto that he doesn't that he's not right about the way he feels. I have mentioned before that Bubba, you and I have gotten in trouble many times for talking about shows being too slow.
Yeah.
And people are like, just relax. You don't need action all the time. But I have said that I didn't feel that this show was slow because there's absolutely no fat on it. Even if there is an action, there's no fat. Now, of course, what happened tonight, we had 19 minutes of what I considered to be kind of fat. But
Oh, no.
you know what? Every show is its own thing, and I appreciate that they didn't add stuff that didn't contribute to it. In other words, if the show is going to be, this is the best thing about shows not being on network television, where they don't have
Yes.
to be 22 minutes or they don't have to be 44 minutes. And so I'm glad that they haven't padded these out. But I'm not going to tell Alberto he's wrong. He's got an
Okay.
opinion and he feels strongly about it.
Thank you for that feedback,
Yes,
Alberto.
really appreciate it. And Conrado, that is hard to read and say correctly, said this show is great, but Game of Thrones is still the GOAT.
Ooh.
First episodes. Best moment for me is that the boy Egg is from the royal family. It was suspicious that he's too intelligent.
Oh, well,
Love that.
thank you. Thank you. Our final bit is from a great listener, Zephyrcat, who said, I think it's too early to say A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is better than Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, but I am very much enjoying this lighter tone. The acting continues to amaze me. Dunk could have easily been an annoying brat, but he's got so much texture in his performance, and Dunk surprises me with his acting alone. The disbelief and disappointment when he thought no one would join him. Zephyrcat loves it, Catfish, but nobody is willing to take the step you did and say, this is the best one so far. Wow.
You know what? I'm willing to go out on a branch for something I believe in.
Yeah, heck yeah. Okay,
All
we
right,
had
and Bubba, speaking of that, we got people going out on branches for episode 5. We got some feedback on this very episode. Again, from Cam Shea. Thank you for bringing It's So Hard. Cam Shea said, I didn't expect Baelor to die. I was reading the book this week and stopped before the trial by 7. Duncan needs to learn some knight skills. Now, after this, I mean, it seemed like he's got pretty good fighting skills. Now, of course, he did get unhorsed very quickly,
Oh,
but
he did. Yeah,
but I thought his fighting skills were pretty decent.
they were. What's interesting is, though, they didn't, he and Aerion really didn't have a very long sword fight either, right? Like literally they both very easily got their swords either knocked out of their hands or stabbed. And so when it became a brawl, Dunk doesn't need any training in brawls. He's pretty good. He's pretty good with that. I love
I
that.
mean, but it's great the way they're showing it. They're in the
Yeah.
mud. They're wearing all this
Yes.
heavy stuff. These are not quick and skilled. This is just like mash your sword down as hard as you can.
Hell yeah. Nick Fortuna gave us some feedback on this episode 5 Catfish. Nick wrote, okay, this was not what I was expecting at all. But
Oh,
he's
no.
giving episode 5 10 double Bs out of 10.
Double B's.
Brutal beatings,
Oh man,
Catfish.
that's like mine in my head. The brutal bludgeonings.
Nick wrote, I lost count of the number of times I said, holy shit, out loud. Absolutely amazing. So he loved it. Hell yeah.
Love it. And now we got some feedback on episode 4. Link Hogthrob said slower burn than I'd hoped, but glad it got to the point. Now I'm invested. We're back, baby.
Hell yeah. Now, our good buddy at Revere Terry on Twitter wrote, hey, because these two knucklehead Joffrey podcast hosts have so much trouble discerning what's going on as Darren, I'll lay it out for them. Baelor took Duncan's side for moral reasons, but also politically. The Targaryen family couldn't be seen as just executing a hapless good guy like Dunk. I thought Dunk critiquing the artwork on his shield was funny because it's exactly what he asked her to paint. Everybody's a critic.
I'm telling Mother. Oh!
And the Dooley's left legs replied, it was so good. He said, yep, Dunk was definitely channeling his inner Mopey Moperson at that point.
Aww. Oh, hey, Catfish, here we go. Why don't you read this next bit of feedback from
All
Caro
right.
Joso?
Caro Joso says, I agree with Lord Catfish that we are supposed to wonder if Dunk has been knighted. Why have him hesitate when given the opportunity to knight another person? If he truly had been a knight, he would have done it and then called out to the other houses to join. I also agree with Lord Bubba that the shot of s1e05 shrugging was to show that Dunk's past was not really going to be able to help him in this situation. What was that we said in college? PBR me ASAP because Schlitz giving you the shits might still be applicable.
Carol, where'd you go to college? Let's roll.
Carol will fully commit to any sponsorship deals that we iron out. Appreciated. Carol also says, I hope I would fight on Dunk's side. His cause is just and right and noble.
Last week, at the end of last week's podcast, we were saying who would be on your trial by 7 team, trial of 7 team. Shirley on YouTube wrote her team would be the best of the best.
Okay, who she got?
She would have Sir Duncan the Tall. That's a pretty good choice after this one. From House of the Dragon, she's choosing Prince Daemon Targaryen, Catfish.
All right.
Daemon, you like
Yeah,
that?
he gives 0 Fs.
How about Barristan Selmy? Remember him in the original series? He took down like 50 Sons of the Harpy before, admittedly, he went down, but he took out like 50 of them.
Okay, all right.
Arthur Dane, the guy, the Sword of the Morning, the guy who in the original series, it was a Bran flashback vision. He was fighting with 2 swords. That's pretty good. She also's got the Hound, Sandor Clegane. Oh my
All
God,
right,
this
I
is
like
great.
it. Okay, all right, let's hear it. Who else do we have?
Well, now here, wait a minute here. I gotta count how many she's choosing. She's not fighting.
1,
I think
2,
she's got
3,
somebody
4,
fighting
5,
for her.
6, 7. No, no, she's not fighting.
She's got a
What is she-
champion.
No, she just got all champions.
So she's got
Okay.
Maegor Targaryen. Now there are a couple of Maegors. Maegor the Cruel fought in the last trial of 7 over 100 years ago, and she has one of the, I'm pretty sure she means Visenya Targaryen, one of the 3 people who were the sister wife of Aegon who conquered the 7 kingdoms. Oh my God, Shirley's like, I'm not fighting. Get these awesome people in there. Hell yeah,
Well,
Shirley.
Shirley's
Great job.
also she really seems she seems like a Targaryen sympathizer here, doesn't she?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Very strong on the Targaryens.
Hell yeah, I like it. Great choices, Shirley. Guys, next week, somehow, we're already at the final episode 6, entitled The Morrow. For everybody here at Double BHQ, my name's Bubba. You can find me on social media at Fit and Trim. That's FITTENTRIM, at Fit and Trim on social media.
And I'm Catfish. You can hit me up at G to the Man. That's GETOTHEMAN on Instagram and Blue Sky. And we will talk to you next week on the Joffrey of Podcasts.
I'm telling Mother. Oh!
Shirley's going to do the Targaryen of podcasts.
She will. She will. Wait, there's a Joffrey Targaryen. Remember what they named one in House of the Dragon. Good work, Shirley.
It's all coming together, Shirley.